Hello and welcome to Not Without My Sister, the Minisode, where today we're going to talk about... I'm Rosemary McCabe and my sister, Beatrice McCabe, is here too. Hashtag very professional. Today we're going to talk about the not at all convoluted subject of what TV or film have you seen that has made you consider a totally bizarre and probably very unlike you career trajectory that later on, after a small bit of research, you've realised you would not be good at. I'll go first because this was my idea. Coyote Ugly. I came out of Coyote Ugly. And I
What's this piano roof piano player?
No. I thought I was going to be a sexy bar girl.
Oh.
Rooftop piano player. That was a boring part. I thought I was going to be like Tyra Banks splashing whiskey all over the punters on top of a bar in New York. And then do you remember we went to New York and we went to the actual Coyote Ugly bar?
Which was right opposite my work.
Yeah, which was really near your work. And I was literally like, oh my God, could never, that bar looks filthy, would never want to get up there. It was like, no.
Well, I mean, the problem was we only ever went after work. I feel like, I don't know, I mean, maybe, I don't know when this place got jamming or whatever, like got pumping, but it certainly wasn't ever when we were there. It was always like we were there when, and there were like four other people, and to your point, like it looked filthy. The toilets looked absolutely grime filled.
The whole thing, and like in Coyote Ugly, they were always so clean, like the girls. You know what I mean?
But there were a ton of bras. Remember, there were a ton of bras up on the wall and hanging up on the ceiling, and I was like, and it never occurred to me, like, what if I took off my bra? Like, I'm like, I don't think that'd be a good look. I don't think anybody would be like, yes, great, took off your bra. They'd be like, get that right back on.
Like, put that right in the bin.
Well, no, it'd be more like it's hanging too low.
If I took off
it's
my bra right now,
obscuring our eye line.
If I took off my bra right now, they'd be like, "What is it? Like, is it knickers? It's like one of those True and Co. sports bra. It's made out of like stretchy scuba."
Oh, Rosemary, this was in the good old days when everybody just had push-up bras. This was in the Wonder Bra era.
It's true. I had a lot of push-up bras from Pennies. The other one, so actually there were several, but the other movie that I came out of going, this is my career now, Burlesque. So that was when myself, Emma and Claire signed up for the Burlesque class. Burlesque with Christina Aguilera and Cher. Have you not seen that movie?
Rosemary, I know what movie you're talking about, but I'm literally like, why are the movies that you watch? Because I was thinking, Surgeon. Like,
I knew you would be thinking these things. I have an even worse one coming up.
Oh God, what?
But sorry, to say Burlesque. So I know I've mentioned this before. Myself, Claire and Emma then went to a Burlesque class. And Beatrice, it took, say, approximately 25 seconds in that class for me to realise, perhaps not for me.
Why not?
Oh my God, I was desperate. You had to do it in your heels, Beatrice, and you know I can barely walk in them.
Oh yeah, God, no. They're not even let you wear a good pair of wedges.
No, you had to wear your little heels the whole time. I actually saw a lovely pair of wedges that I quite liked today. I was going to send them to you and then I thought you'd slag me, so I didn't.
I wouldn't. Probably wedges are probably making a comeback and I just don't know because I'm so busy hating on them.
They were espadrille wedges. And then, the last one, so this is the worst one, was when I watched the Billie Piper series, Secret Diary of a Call Girl.
Oh my God, what is this common thread of like, what is going on with you? Like, it's all about
that I have a fantasy where I'm really hot and I can use my number one obsession, men finding me attractive, to make money. That's basically it.
Fair enough.
Thanks.
Well, at least we know what it is. Okay.
When I finished watching Secret Diary of a Call Girl, I was like, she's really rich and she goes to really nice hotels and none of those men looked particularly disgusting. What? It's TV. What was I on? And this was like, I was in my 20s. This was not a teenager. So then I decided to look up because I was like, there must be escort agents. Like, there must be escorts.
That's actually insulting to teenagers, just so you know.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it's insulting to men. I was like, what?
Oh.
But I looked up escort agencies in Ireland because I was like, there must be like escorts of all different shapes and size. No, let me tell you, the escorts are all very slim, very symmetrical and very blonde. And I was just like, I'd just be the fat escort. Which,
and also, honestly, probably, Rosemary, probably also extremely polite and very able to just not pass comment on the people who come in their doorway. So I'd say already you've lost. But I'll tell you, so I was watching Wonder Woman 1984 last week. I'm waiting for you to watch it so that I can comment on a couple of things that I found actually shocking about it. But let me tell you, it was shockingly bad, right? Really bad. And I really enjoyed the first one. It was incredibly crap. And even the kids kept going, when's the fighting going to happen? When's the fighting starting? It was very long. We watched it over 2 nights and I wasn't looking forward to watching the second installment. But anyway, at the end, I was like, I'd like her job. And Don goes, what does she do? I'm like, I'm not quite sure. But like, seemed to travel a lot.
Yeah.
Wore a lot of really good looking jumpsuits.
Good clothes.
Well, she used to be a doctor. Do you remember in the actual TV series, she was a doctor?
Don't remember. No.
And then in this one, she was, I don't know what, like just glamorous and said things about science that sounded scientific, but didn't actually ever seem to have an office or a job or dally very long anywhere. So I'd like that job because it seems pretty good. Get to wear really cool clothes, go to parties and do very little work.
Hang on, sorry. Not to just imitate Dawn. Sorry, what job is this? Just to be Wonder Woman?
Yes, basically.
But I don't think...
yes,
but I
not
don't
sure
think
what she does.
the actual fighting part.
If I was invincible, except like she wasn't in 1984, if I was invincible and had like metal shield things on my
bracelets
joints,
shield
yes,
bracelets.
I would love it.
But she does sometimes get hit. I don't think, I mean, and I wouldn't go in for that either.
Rosemary, I'm not saying I, Beatrice McCabe, would like to bound tall buildings. I'm saying I, Beatrice Wonder Woman McCabe, would like to bound tall buildings with the ability of an Amazon. Would I like to be an Amazon? Yes, why not? So yes, I'd like to be Wonder Woman. She seems to have a hobby. It's a hobby of a job. And I'm like, sounds good, right? Everything else is just about, I don't even know what is actually her purpose in life? Not sure. The other job I was thinking, as you're asking me what else I would like is, I had a good one there and I forgot it. What was it? Well, I'd definitely like to be a surgeon. Oh no, a detective.
You'd like to be a surgeon?
I always wanted to be.
Sorry, hang on. Just backtrack for 1 second. I mean, we could talk about your love of detectives in a second. I know you'd love that. You'd like to be a surgeon?
On TV. You said on TV. They seem to have great lives.
No. What TV
I just watched
to do that in real life?
Yeah, but like if this is what it was like in real life, I'd like to be a surgeon.
But you're very squeamish.
And watching The Good Witch. What?
I feel like
I'm not squeamish at all. What are you talking about?
I don't think
Rosemary, I'm not remotely squeamish. I have carted
Really?
Julie across to many a doctor's appointment and held her hand as she shook with like ridiculous fear at the thought of a needle. I'm not remotely squeamish. What are you talking about?
Sorry. Like holding your mate's hand while they're having their blood taken is not the same as like cutting open somebody's spleen. You can't even talk about these things over your meal times or you feel sick.
No, I just feel gross because I'm eating meat.
Oh.
It's
Maybe
not about being
sick. If you were a surgeon. I
doubt it. I just don't want to talk about my operations while I'm having my steak. Like, it's more, I don't need this connection.
Much to ask?
Yeah. Is that too? No, it's not.
Okay, sorry. So tell me about your life as a detective.
Oh, yeah. So, well, anyway, no, back to me being a surgeon. So I'd happily be a surgeon. And, right, I'd be a surgeon because I was always thinking about, I didn't watch that much of Grey's Anatomy, but certainly they seemed to have a great time, right? And ER. I loved ER. George Clooney was on it and like literally wasn't that bad.
And Noah What's his chops?
Oh, I hated him.
Noah Wiley?
Noah Wusspants. And then The Good Witch. Sam seems to have a great time as a surgeon. He seems to operate an hour a week. He rocks into the hospital. He says something extremely obnoxious and mansplainy, and they all nod and say, amazing, amazing.
I was going to say he says a lot of wise things, but that's more accurate.
Yeah, he says he seems to have plenty of time. Like every time she comes in to, I don't know, like consult on wallpaper or say something knowledgeable and sage, he's available. He's always hanging in the lobby, like looking for his next appointment. He's never arms deep in blood. He's having a great time. So those are the things that made me think I'd like to be a surgeon.
Now, sorry, just to link back to your actual job, have you ever seen a depiction of a fashion designer on TV or movies and thought that either looks very accurate or that looks great?
I watched Devil Wears Prada, right? And everybody was like, oh, so ridiculous. What a great movie. Like, absolutely woeful movie, but also because so ridiculous. Like, they were all way too nice. Everybody was way too nice in it. Even what's her face, Glenn Close. They were all
Streep.
Not Glenn Close, Meryl Streep.
What about Phantom Thread?
Oh,
I feel like that's very
I haven't watched that.
Oh, you haven't?
Haven't watched it. No, Mom's watched it multiple times and put me off it.
It's a beautiful movie.
Haven't watched it.
Phantom Thread and Pavarotti. Mum has an obsession with like mean men, although Pavarotti's probably not that mean.
Oh, is he mean?
In Phantom Thread. Mm-hmm. Well, he's not.
But I mean,
nice.
that sounds accurate. That sounds accurate.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought.
So I'll tell you my true other calling. Harkening back from when I used to read Kay Scarpetta novels by Patricia Cornwell, way back in the day in Ireland, all those novels you never read, you never liked them. Dad and I loved them. Well, I loved them, and Dad and I loved them. And I was about to say, I thought it was our like connection. And on about novel 7, I'm like, Dad, have you read this? He's like, I've gone off them. They're garbage or trash, whatever. And I was so annoyed. But anyway, they weren't garbage, Dad. She went through she had a bit of a lull, a bit like your man, J.J. Martin. Is that his name? J.J. Martin.
George
Game
R.
of
R.
Thrones.
Martin?
Yeah, him. Anyway, he did, but I mean, he never rebounded. His novels just got crap because he got rich and they got crap.
Yeah.
But your one, Cornwell, excellent. So she was a pathologist, right? And she was a pathologist assistant, I think actually is correct. Whatever, some relation to a pathologist. And she started writing novels and they were great, I thought. And they're like very, not like the kind of normal female protagonist, because she was definitely not as likable, not as classically likable. Like she wasn't set up like that. She was a bit prickly and a bit difficult, blah, blah, blah.
Sounds very up your
Then I
alley.
became obsessed with becoming a pathologist, right? Then her niece grew up, her like difficult niece grew up to be like a very butt-kicking FBI agent, also lesbian, just to like add to the cool factor, wear a lot of leather, was very cool. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to become a lesbian FBI agent. This is amazing. But I was obsessed with joining the FBI until I realized that you couldn't, as a non-American citizen, you can't be in the FBI, or you have to be here for multiple years before you qualify. So instead I went into fashion design.
I'd say those were Scully's 2 options as well.
Well, also I read the amount of sports and like fitness tests you had to do to get into the FBI, and I was like, I don't know if I'd qualify for that.
Do you remember I did the physical fitness test to get into the fire brigade? Not to get into the fire brigade, I did it for TV.
Excuse me?
I did it for TV.
What?
Yeah, because they were like, let's
No,
do
I
this.
don't remember.
Oh my God, it was on TV and everything. We did this 12 weeks to fitness thing where we basically just did like weightlifting for ages, and then at the end, well, we did weightlifting and we went and had our...
Sorry, excuse me. Can I ask a question without being perceived as rude?
Yeah. Just one.
You did it 12 weeks to fitness and you basically weightlifted for ages. That's a quote from you now.
Oh, yeah.
Is that it?
So basically, was it 12 weeks? Maybe it was 6 weeks. Anyway, it was a couple of weeks.
Regardless, several weeks to fitness.
We went in and we checked in on the show once a week to talk about how we were getting on. We did 3 sessions a week with a personal trainer, and then we also did like, I think there was a kind of we got juices or something, and we got some kind of vitamin supplements, and we went to a doctor and had our cholesterol checked at the beginning and at the end. So it was kind of to see like how much can you change in 6 weeks, you know what I mean? Or
is this
12
the
weeks.
kind of thing where like people who are watching this go, how much these guys must get paid a fortune?
Oh yeah, oh my God, I got paid 50 euro for going on midday. It's not a fortune, let me tell you.
Did you get paid for like the extra all this weightlifting sessions?
No.
This was like the perk of the job.
Yeah.
And I say that with my famous quotation fingers.
With your
The perk
famous
of the job.
totally erratic quotation fingers.
How dare you?
Yes, it was a perk.
50 euro, are you joking?
No, that's how much I used to get for going on midday. And it would take
But like you basically had to go and do 7 hours of research a week to then get 50 quid.
well, I never read it 7 hours, but like it would take half
But I mean,
a day.
you had to.
And you'd
But
have
like
to
if
do
you had to
2
go
hours
and do this
research
3 hours of sessions, what I'm saying, like you do 3 sessions a week.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, if you take into account if you're me, you've got an hour of prep, an hour of psychological prep, you've got 2 hours of recovery. So that's 12 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
50 quid was worth it.
That is where I discovered that, not really that I loved weightlifting, but that actually being heavy gave me a great advantage, because there were 4 of us doing it and the 3 other women were much lighter than I was, and I ended up
No, Rosemary, we
beating them
call
at
it
the
being
weightlifting.
solid. Being solid.
No, I was just stronger. But anyway,
Yeah, strong.
at the very end of it, we had to do the physical fitness test that you have to do when you applied to go into the fire brigade. And it was like we had to to pick up the hose and like run up the length of the field with it.
Did you? Yeah. The hose or the host?
The hose. And there was other
the
stuff we
hose.
had to do. Like, I think we had to pick up like a dummy or something and then run somewhere with him. And
I think I vaguely remember you telling me about carrying a dummy over your shoulder. But I mean, how do they add? Because like, not to sound glib, there's absolutely no way I could have done this. Like literally carrying a straw up the hill is probably too much for me. But Like, what about the part where they add on the fire and the terror?
Well, they lit a little bucket on fire in the corner for the TV, I think, so that there was some flames in the frame.
I meant, how do they add that like element of stress to the test?
Well, we had the flames in the corner of our eye the whole time. We were looking at them over our shoulder, but they didn't do the bit where I think if you're actually join the fire brigade, you have to do some. You do smoke training, you know what I mean? So you do train to see if you can run through like a shipping container that's filled with smoke or whatever, like with your uniform on or whatever. I had to wear the uniform and everything. Just remembering.
I mean, not to make light of it, because definitely I admire fire people like nobody's business. But maybe we already qualified for that, because remember Granny used to smoke at least 100 cigarettes a day. Just walking into the sitting room was like walking into
60 cigarettes before lunch, 60 after. I tell everyone that.
So like just walking into the sitting room was like a full on. Maybe that's where you got your good stamina from.
Maybe it is, and maybe it's from ingesting all the ash in the sausages. Remember she used to fry the sausages and there'd be little bits of ash and everything. Oh, she was great.
Like, maybe that probably actually set the tone for my life. Like I should have been like, oh sorry Granny, thanks, I couldn't eat that. Instead I was like, well I'm hungry, I'm gonna have to eat that.
You could write like a parody of Angela's ashes and call it Granny's ashes.
Sausage ashes.
ashes
I had
in
shoes
sausages.
I had shoes on though, only to just prevent the falling cigarette butts from burning my toes.
Falling embers, yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
okay, go on away. Anyway, could you have been a fire person?
Well, I passed whatever part of the test that we had to do that day, yes.
Oh, great job.
A firefighter, Beatrice.
Oh yeah, exactly. Exactly, a firefighter. Fire person, that's probably the arsonist.
I'm trying
Okay, so are you glad?
Sorry. Obviously I wanted to be a vampire slayer. But that wasn't really a job. I shouldn't get paid for it. But that was like...
She got paid for an adoration.
Oh, not really, Beatrice. She saved the world over and over and over again. What'd she get for it? Nothing.
She got paid for it in Hot Vampires.
Lost the love of her life twice. Riley went off in that helicopter. An angel.
Who's Riley?
Riley, the really boring army guy.
Sounds like no loss. Angel, meanwhile.
Angel. He hasn't aged well, David Boreanaz, I have to say.
Rosemary, don't be so past remarkable. We don't comment on people's faces. Faces.
We don't comment on people's faces on the podcast. Thank you very much for listening to Not Without My Sister. Please let us know, what TV depiction of a career made you think, that's great? And then what point in real life made you think, oh no, it's not? Because for me, it was those burlesque mirrors.
I'd like to know what about people who thought, oh, that's great, I should do that career, and then did it and are still doing it.
Oh, good point. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's amazing that there are people who saw something and then actually followed it through, unlike me.
Well, if I'd watched Emily in Paris back in the day, I would have thought to myself, I could do PR, and it's just like that.
You can get us on Instagram at Not Without My Sister, or individually at Rosemary McCabe and at Beatrice McCabe. There's an A in our Mac. Just blame our dad. Our website is notwithoutmysis.com, and you can email us notwithoutmysis@gmail.com, and you'll get us for a full episode on Tuesday, a mini episode on Fridays. If you have Apple Podcasts and you could rate, review and subscribe, that would really help us, help other people discover the podcast. And actually, a very special request, wherever you're listening to this, if you could take a screen grab and share on your Instagram stories, share on Twitter, tag us on Instagram, tag me at Rosemary McCabe on Twitter, and let us know, and we'll share. We would really appreciate it, because you're just trying to get the word out, you know? Let more people know
Rosemary,
about us.
I liked what you said there. Help us help other people.
Yeah, to discover us.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks, bye.
Bye. Not Without My Sister is produced by Liam Garrity, sound and original music by Don Kirkland, and our original illustration is by Lindsay Nielsen.
Not Without My Sister is a member of The Warren, the home of great Irish podcasts. As is my podcast, Meet Your Maker. You'll find more great shows at thewarren.ie.